I never believed in urban legends until I drove down Route 17 and saw the smiling man. I haven't told this story in years. Most people wouldn't believe me anyway. Hell, even I still have trouble believing what happened that night. It happened in October of 2018. I was 29, working as a regional sales rep for a medical supply company. That meant driving. A lot. Long highways, small towns, cheap hotels, bad coffee. I'd done overnight drives dozens of times before, and I actually liked them. The roads were empty. The radio kept me company. And there was something peaceful about the isolation. That night, I was heading back from a conference in Erie to my home outside Scranton. It was supposed to be a 6-hour drive, but rain slowed everything down. By midnight, I was still in the mountains. No traffic, no lights, nothing but miles of wet black road cutting through endless trees. My GPS rerouted me after an accident ahead and sent me down Route 17, a 2-lane rural highway that shaved about 40 minutes off my trip. I didn't think twice. At first, the road seemed normal. Dark, but normal. The rain had mostly stopped. Fog rolled low over the asphalt. The forest on both sides looked impossibly dense. No gas stations, no houses, no other cars. I remember glancing at the dashboard clock. That was when I saw him. At first, I thought it was a deer, just a shape on the shoulder up ahead. But as I got closer, my headlights illuminated a man. He was standing perfectly still beside the road. No jacket, no bag, no car nearby. Just standing there in dark pants and a white button-up shirt, and smiling, not waving, not asking for help, just smiling. I slowed instinctively. He looked to be in his 40s, hair slicked flat against his head by the rain. And that smile, it stretched too wide, not like happiness. Like he was forcing his mouth open farther than it should go. The kind of smile that makes every instinct in your body scream that something is wrong. I kept driving. No way was I stopping for that guy. As I passed him, I looked in my rearview mirror. He was still standing there, watching my car, still smiling. I laughed nervously and turned the radio louder. Probably some drunk local trying to mess with people. That's what I told myself. Then, 10 minutes later, I saw him again. Standing on the shoulder. Same white shirt, same posture, same impossible smile. My chest tightened. That wasn't possible. There had been no intersections, no side roads, no way he could have gotten ahead of me. I checked the mirror. No cars behind me, no headlights, nothing. Maybe it was another guy. Maybe I was tired. I drove faster. As I passed him, he slowly turned his head to follow me, still smiling. I felt cold all over. I gripped the wheel so hard my knuckles hurt. I told myself not to be stupid. Just drive. Just get off this road. But Route 17 kept going. Dark trees, fog, wet pavement, no civilization. Then my GPS lost signal. The screen froze, then went black. Perfect, I muttered. I reached for my phone. No service. That's when I saw headlights in my mirror. Relief flooded through me. Finally, another car. The headlights got closer fast. Too fast. A pickup truck came roaring up behind me, flashing its high beams. I moved to the side to let it pass, but it didn't pass. It stayed behind me, lights blinding my mirrors. Then the horn started blaring. Long, aggressive blasts. What the hell? I accelerated. The truck matched my speed. Then it swerved beside me. The driver was screaming and pointing frantically toward my passenger seat. I looked over. No one was there. I shouted, "What?" The driver's face was white with panic. He kept pointing. Then he floored it and sped away into the dark. My stomach dropped. I looked at the passenger seat again. Empty. But the seatbelt was unbuckled. I always kept it buckled. Always. I pulled over, heart pounding. The truck's taillights disappeared ahead. I checked the back seat. Nothing. Checked the doors. Locked. No sign anyone had entered. I sat there breathing hard, trying to calm down. Then I heard it. A soft tapping. From the roof. Tap, tap, slow. Deliberate. Like fingernails. I froze. Tap, tap. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. The tapping moved. Across the roof. toward the passenger side, then down the window. Tap, tap, tap. I turned my head slowly, and there he was, standing inches from the passenger window, the smiling man. Rainwater streamed down his face, but the smile never moved. His eyes looked straight into mine, dark, unblinking. Then he raised one hand and gently tapped the glass. Tap, tap, tap. I screamed and slammed the gas. The tires spun on the wet road before catching. The car lurched forward. In the mirror, I saw him still standing there, watching, smiling. I drove like a maniac, 90 miles an hour on slick roads. I didn't care. I just needed to get off Route 17. Then, after another 15 minutes, I saw lights. A gas station. One of those old rural places with 2 pumps and a convenience store. I nearly cried with relief. I pulled in hard, jumped out, and ran inside. A heavy-set older woman stood behind the counter. She looked startled. "You okay, honey?" "There's a man on the road," I gasped. "He's following me. There's something wrong. Can I call the police?" Her expression changed instantly. Fear. Real fear. She stared at me. "White shirt?" she asked quietly. I nodded. "And smiling?" My blood went cold. "Yes." She looked toward the dark windows, then locked the store door. "Sit down," she said. I just stood there. "What the hell is happening?" She swallowed hard. "You need to stay here till morning." "Who is he?" She hesitated. "People around here call him the smiling man." I laughed in disbelief. "No, seriously. I am serious." She looked terrified. "He's been seen on Route 17 for 30 years. "That's impossible." "Maybe. But every person who's seen him says the same thing." She leaned closer. "He appears alone on the road, smiling. If he gets in your car..." She stopped. "What?" she whispered. "People come back wrong." My mouth went dry. "This is insane." She nodded slowly. "There was a deputy back in the 90s who picked him up. Deputy made it home. Wife said he wasn't himself. Quiet. Distant." She stared at me. A week later, he cut his own face open while smiling in the mirror. I felt nauseous. "No," she continued. "A teenager saw him in 2007, drove away, made it home. 2 months later, he vanished. They found his car on Route 17, empty, driver door open." She whispered, "Still running." I wanted to leave. I wanted to call someone. I checked my phone, still no signal. The woman handed me coffee with shaking hands. "Stay till sunrise." I nodded. I sat in that gas station until dawn. Nothing happened. When the sun came up, I felt stupid, exhausted, paranoid, embarrassed. Maybe the woman was crazy. Maybe the truck driver had been messing with me. Maybe stress had made me hallucinate, but I still couldn't shake the feeling that what I saw on Route 17 was real. The next morning, instead of going home, I drove straight to the local police station in the nearest town. I expected concern, questions, maybe even a patrol sent out to check the road. Instead, the officers barely reacted. One of them looked up from his desk, sighed, and said, "You saw the smiling man, huh?" The way he said it made my stomach turn. Like this wasn't the first time. Like it was something they heard all the time. Another older officer pulled me aside and quietly told me that stories about that man had been around for decades, long before he joined the force. People claimed a traveler had died on Route 17 years ago, stranded there after a crash, begging for help while cars passed him by. Some said he froze to death. Others said he was murdered. No one knew the truth. "But folks say he's still there," the officer muttered, "waiting for someone to stop." I asked if they were going to investigate. He gave me a tired smile and said, "Best thing you can do is stay off that road." I left angry. But as I drove away, I realized something terrifying. The officer had smiled when he said it, and his smile was just a little too wide.